Hi, I'm Patty Greer, one of the proud owners of C60 Evo, the evolution of the carbon-60 molecule. I would like to introduce my fabulous partners, Chris Burres
Hello.
and Robert Wong, who we
How you
hide in the
doing?
lab most of the time. What we want to do is clarify some terminology that people are confused with, such as myself. That's why we have Robert and Chris here. People are concerned with C60 because they don't understand a molecule specifically going in the body to do improvements is a word we can use. What people are worried about is the word nano. It's like, what does that mean? A bot, some kind of AI connection? And C60 has nothing to do with that. We are innocent of all charges. People are concerned about nanotubes, like, what does that mean? And I can't answer it, but these guys can. So if you would clarify to start with those two terms and other things you have heard that people are scared about with C60, that would be great.
Absolutely. So, Robert, we did a couple of videos and Robert was talking about the production process for carbon-60 and ultimately ESS60, that carbon-60 that's safe for human consumption. So go back and check out those videos. And the concern is, yeah, hey, maybe it's a bot that can be put in your body, or maybe it's some sort of communication device that can be put in your body. And what's really important to understand is that ESS60 is made of 60 carbon atoms, the fundamental building block of all matter, 60 of them, just 60 carbon atoms. And currently across the globe, scientists get really excited when they can move one atom from one place to another. And so they'll move an atom and they'll write out the name, like IBM is one of them, where they've spelled out IBM in atoms. And this is an incredibly big deal because we have a very hard time moving individual atoms. In the case of ESS60, it's only 60 carbon atoms. You really can't do anything with 60 carbon atoms. You certainly can't make a bot. There's no way to have some sort of communication through a 60 carbon atom molecule. So it's really, you're dealing in a land that okay, great. Because it looks like a soccer ball molecule. It looks like it could do something, but really all it can do is kind of what we believe is it can interact with your body and do beneficial things. What it cannot do is be some sort of antenna or be some sort of robot.
Fear, fear, fear. And what are nanotubes? They have nothing to do with C60, right?
Nanotubes was discovered by accident when they were made when they were making carbon fullerenes with graphite rods, and I guess 1992, 1993, Dr. Ojima of NEC in Japan discovered some amorphous carbon that had nanotubes in it, and he went crazy about this. And he presented at one of the conferences. But what carbon nanotube is a little bitty nano-sized tube, a straw of carbon. If you take a graphite sheet and you roll this graphite sheet into a tube, that will be a nanotube. And there's multiple different kind of nanotubes, multi-wall, single-wall nanotubes, different chiralities. I think I just said it wrong, but all different properties of nanotubes. And there's a whole science in nanotubes. So there are departments who all they do is study nanotubes. And there's a lot of interesting things with nanotubes. We do sell nanotubes. We don't sell too much nanotubes because there's a lot of specialized companies that manufacture nanotubes and sell it. So we want to focus on our carbon-60, our ES60. So that's what we focus on.
And to just like be aware of the difference between ESS60, the spherical carbon molecule, and nanotubes, I can just flat out say I would not consume nanotubes in any shape or form. There is no research on them, on efficacy or if they're safe or whatever they may do. So don't do that. I will also throw in, don't consume nano onions. There are companies that we're aware out there selling nano onions. So that's basically an ESS60 molecule, except it's got multiple larger molecules around it, and those molecules are cut in half, and so you see like these layers of a bucky material. There's no research on those. Incredibly dangerous to be putting those things in your body, as opposed to ESS60, which has lots of research showing how safe it is.
Yeah, well, years ago, I remember the EPA or some government entity came to visit us at one point, and was asking questions about nanotubes, and because nanotubes can be something very similar to asbestos, because it's little miniature fibers, microfibers. So they came and asked us questions, and we basically told them, we don't really work with nanotubes. If we did, we could help you out, but your visit to us was in vain, because we don't work in carbon nanotube field that much.
So the beginning of the two of you working together, you were in college, and your college professor let you know that C60 is more valuable than gold per ounce. How did you guys go from learning that to creating the Star Wars machine that I saw at the lab?
That's a good question. So going back a year, so I worked at the Texas Center for Superconductivity, and my professor wanted us to get his hands on carbon-60, and at that time, the really only place to get carbon-60 was from Rice University, where it was discovered at, and so he sent us over there to talk to Richard Smalley. Richard Smalley told us to talk to his grad students. So we ended up talking to his grad students on about carbon-60. We ended up purchasing some of the carbon-60 from their lab.
By the way, just to jump in here, Richard Smalley is one of the guys who won the Nobel Prize for discovering buckyballs.
Yep. So, but anyhow, so to make a long story short, I was processing the raw fullerene materials due to chromatography separation, and at some point I thought, wait, 1 gram sold for $6,000, and I was like, I know how to do this and how to make it. And so I started formulating plans to build a business off this. And a few days later, our professor at University of Houston came and talked to us. Hey, a couple of young guys, like, you start a business. I go, okay. So he gave us our full support and backing. And early on, they wanted us to be on campus. So we wrote our business plan with help at the university, at the physics department, and we presented it to the University of Houston Board of Regents, and they decided that they don't want a independent commercial business on campus, which worked out best for us. I'm sure after the first explosion, they probably would kick us out anyhow. But so off we went. Me and Chris designed our first reactor. I built it in my dad's garage, and built it, and we transported it to our first facility, and plugged it up, and it was like Frankenstein. It had sparks flying and things going all different directions, and we didn't know what we were doing at first. A couple of young guys, straight out of college, but over the years we figured out how to do it and do it right and grow the business. And now we here helping people around the world with their health. And we have started business as a feedstock supplier of carbon fullerenes to other people who do research and manufacture, and now we're here on the way and the other end dealing with individual people and changing their lives for the better. And it's really fulfilling for us in that sense. We never thought we'd be in this field, but things change.
And I'm going to add, because we've visited lots of manufacturing facilities around the world, that reactor that Robert and I built in those early days is still the most efficient reactor on the planet.
Wow. And what was your part? Were you a mechanical engineer?
Yeah, I was studying mechanical engineering. Robert and I were in the same physics class together. And he really approached me. He didn't mention this and appreciate it. He actually had a different business partner when he started, and they needed some help with drawings. They needed some help with like labor and, you know, all that good stuff. And so they kind of brought me on. I was supposed to do some drawings and kind of go away. The other business partner, good friend of ours, we still know him, speak with him. He went on to do different things, and I stuck around, and Robert and I have been working together for more than 30 years now.
And then the wild girl showed up and said, let's do this. Well, I think that it's been the magical trio for sure. And we are servicing so many people in so many countries now with this amazing product. And, you know, I just came onto it because I was in pain, a lot of pain, and it has changed my life. So when I went looking to invest in where do I want to make C60, who can I do this with? Lucky me, I'm with the original guys that invented the reactor 30 years ago, which is still the best reactor in the world. So thank you, Chris. Thank you, Robert. And everybody that's interested, you definitely want to give this a try. Even a small 4-ounce bottle to begin, you might be surprised at how much better you can feel and sleep. Our website is C60 Evo, like evolution, C60EVO.com. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.